another big bang.
And without further ado, I've got a card trick for you.
Okay, let's see it.
Right, first of all, examine the 5 cards,
Yes,
please.
thank you. I know what you're like, trying to pull a fast one. Okay. Yeah, they all look good to me.
With that?
I am.
Now, the puzzle is you've got to pick up all 5 cards.
It's never that easy with you. What are the rules?
Okay, the rules are you can only touch 1 card and you can only use 1 finger.
That's impossible.
I like the way you thought about it there for a bit.
I was trying, but it's not going to work. Can I not use anything else?
No, you can use anything you like, as long as you
Okay.
only do it with 1 finger and touching 1 card.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to help. Okay.
Have a think about it. It is a tricky one, and you keep watching too, because I'm going to give the answer at the end of the show. Right, now which one of these lollies are homemade? Is it the one shaped like a rocket? No. Is it the stripy strawberries and cream one? No. Is it the one shaped like a cup and is really dull? Yeah, because let's face it, homemade lollies are rubbish.
But on the Big Bang, we want to prove that with a little bit of science know-how, it is possible to make an authentic-looking homemade ice lolly. Take a look at this. Wow, isn't it brilliant? Look at the gradual striping effect with the red and the orange, and what's more, it tastes absolutely scrummy. Now, to make one, all you need is a rocket-shaped mould, and for that, we've got a plastic drinks bottle. Now, I've cut it in half, just going to flip over the top, place it into the bottom so it'll hold it nice and steady. Next thing you need is some orange juice, so just pour that in, just over halfway up, there we go. And then some undiluted black currant juice, that's the sort before you put your water in. So, if I get a spoon and pop it over the orange juice upside down, I'm going to pour my black currant on top of it because I want it to go in really gently. So very carefully, just a little bit at a time. Lovely. Now the black currant concentrate is actually denser than the orange juice, so that means it's heavier. So it sinks down to the bottom and then gradually rises up and mixes in, giving that really nice effect. So now what we need is a lolly stick for our lolly. And for that, I'm going to put a paper clip carefully on each side. And then just stretch an elacky band over the top. There we go. Holds that into place, and then that is a perfect holder for our lolly stick. Now all we need to do is put it in the freezer for 3 hours.
The great thing about these lollies is that you can use solids and liquids together to produce a nice layered effect, which is what I've done with this lolly. Now to make it, I've used 4 of my favourite ingredients. I've got some mashed banana and yoghurt, lovely, and then milkshake chocolate and some diluted blackcurrant juice. Now we're going to use the mashed banana first because it's the most dense of the 4 items, therefore it's heavier and perfect to go in first. Now you have to be very careful when you're spooning this in because you don't want it to touch the sides, otherwise it'll ruin the stripy effect. There we go. That should just about do it. Then we're going to move on to the strawberry yoghurt. Now again, this is a little less dense than the mashed banana, so it should sit on top. Now we're ready to move on to the chocolate milkshake, the first of our liquids. I think I'm going to take a tip from Kate and use the back of the spoon for this, because I want it to go in nice and gently. I don't want it to mix in with the yoghurt. So you dribble over the back of the spoon. Right then, now we're ready for our final ingredient, the blackcurrant juice. Now in here, I've got half water and half of the blackcurrant concentrate. And again, use the back of a spoon to ease it in very gently. If you find it does mix together, don't worry, because eventually it will settle on top of the milkshake. There you go. Then, just using your paper clips and your rubber band, get your lolly stick firmly in place, and then pop it in the freezer for another 3 hours.
Or you can make yourself a plain blackcurrant lolly that's got a surprise in it. Ta-da! Look at that. It's got a cylinder of banana milkshake running all the way through. Now to make that, all you need is the same mould as you had before. And I filled this one with blackcurrant juice. And it's been in the freezer for an hour already with its lolly stick in. So it's half set. Now you need a hole for your banana milkshake to go in. And the best way to achieve that is by using a metal spoon. Just dipping it into some hot water to warm it up. And then carefully just ease it down into your lolly, as close to the lolly stick as you can. And once it's in, just wiggle it around a little bit. That's it. So then we're ready to fill our cylinder with banana milkshake. And it doesn't matter if you spill over the top, because you just want to have about a centimetre all over as well. There we go. Now, for information on how to make our scientific lollies, check out the Big Bang website.
Yeah, have a go at inventing your own lolly flavours and shapes, because trust me, inventing your own food is very refreshing. Today's big question is, how old is this rock? Now, it may not seem like a big question, but it's massive, because if we can work out how old this is, we should be able to work out how old the entire solar system is. So what do you reckon? 1,000 years? Million years? Actually, how do we go about finding out? One clue is how rocks like this are formed, because it's a bit like making bricks. You start with some wet clay, and you have to squash it really firmly to squeeze out all of the water. Then you heat it up, and you go from something mushy like this to something solid, like a house brick.
But there's a little more to it. Now this, is marble, and it's a really tough rock. And this is limestone, which is much softer. Now they both began life as sea creatures. Now millions of dead sea creatures sank down to the bottom of warm, shallow seas. They formed a layer on the seabed, then tons of other material piled on top, crushing them down together to form limestone. Now left alone, it remains limestone, but under certain conditions, as with a bit of heat from the Earth's crust, it turns to marble.
So how long would it take for something like that to happen? Millions of years? Who knows? But one thing I do know is, I'm still no closer to finding out exactly how old my rock is. Another clue. Where you're standing now, deep underground, there may well be layers of this stuff. Now, it's a very common rock called sandstone, and it's made up mainly of, sand. And some of the layers are made up of desert sand, which means we know there used to be a desert here.
Some of you may be standing on layers of coal. Now, as you might know, coal is made when trees and plants are squashed together. So that means that the coal here must have been formed when the land was covered in thick forests and fertile swamps.
Okay, you just got a little something. That's got it. But how does a desert become a swamp? Well, here's another clue for you. For a desert to become a swamp, the land has to move.
Now, when this was a desert, where we're standing was much further south and a lot hotter. Now, the land moved north at a rate of 4 centimetres a year till it got here, where it was much cooler.
Now, that would have taken millions of years, but we're still no closer to finding out how old my rock is. So scientists had to come up with two very important discoveries. The first one was that when rocks are forming, they contain a radioactive material.
And secondly, they found out that the amount of radioactive material decreases as the rock gets older. Okay, so imagine this is a rock and the water inside it is radioactive material. Now, when this rock was formed, it has this much radioactive material in it. So if you look down here, you can see the rate at which the radioactivity is spilling out into the bucket. So if we can work out how much radioactivity has gone, then we're going to know how old the rock is.
Because radioactivity takes millions of years to run out. Now, the radioactivity level in my rock's been measured, and get this, it's 100 million years old. Not bad, eh? But the oldest rock found on Earth was 3.5 billion years old.
Oh, but I could do much better than that. Now, rocks on Earth keep changing, but space rocks just lie around getting older. Now, these are meteorites which fell down to Earth, and they've been dated at 4.5 billion years old.
Wow! So, by dating rocks, we know that our solar system, the Sun, the Earth, and all the other planets are at least 4.5 billion years old.
And that's the answer to a very big question.
Okay, you just want to... There you go, yeah.
Thanks.
Do you know how long I've taken to clean this room up? Do you know how long it takes to pick chopping popcorn out of the carpet? Have you got any idea? And don't think I didn't notice the black one stains on the sofa there. Maybe yours, you didn't get black hair last night. I have to clean this stuff up. How can I do it with one dustpan? Tell me that.
What? I spent so long cleaning up the last time.
I can't believe she's done it again. I mean, it's messed all over the table. I mean, how many times do I have to clean up after? It's ridiculous.
Come on.
Kate, what are you doing?
Well, I'm using magnets either side of one card so I can have it as a scoop to kind of, you know, get them together, but it's not working.
You've got it taped on your finger.
I know. It's good, isn't it?
And the answer to this isn't magnets, it's magic. Or to be more precise, magic tack.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
Let me see.
Okay, get ready to be impressed here. Just line the cards up, like that. Right, you ready for this?
Yep.
Yes, there. How about that?
Fantastic.
Basically, what happens is, let me line them back out for you. As I press the first card onto the second, I'm squeezing out all of the air, meaning the air on the outside is pushing the cards together, and it gets picked up. Now, the tack is just to help me pick up the first card. On the next Big Bang.
Chill out to beautiful bubbles from a lava lamp you can make yourself.
We'll be bigging up the Big Bang Science Top 10. Has Newton hung on to that #1 spot?
Running low on lippy, or do you just want to treat yourself? We have a perfect idea.
Mwah.
Well, that's it from us for today
We'll see you next time
on the Big Bang. Right, fancy a game?
Okay.